Namaste students, welcome to business studies class. So we are discussing about formation of a company. It's a second part in your first year business studies. Second part, there it's a first chapter. Altogether it comes the seventh chapter, formation of a company. And yesterday we discussed about what are the procedures and formalities are there in case of formation of company. And the formalities and procedures we divided it into three stages. There comes the first stage is promotion. First stage is promotion. Then as I said it is incorporation and the last stage was subscription. And we were discussing about promoter. Who is a promoter? Promoter is a person. He may be an individual person, or it may be a group of individuals, or it may be a company. So who takes the initiativeness or responsibility of starting up of a new company? That we call it as, then it is said to be a promoter. And in order to start up a new company, he has to perform that who we call as a promoter. He has to perform variety of functions. And which are those functions? We have seen the first one comes at identifying business opportunity. Firstly, he has to think of business ideas. What kind of business he can start up, or what kind of company he can start up, whether it is a product oriented company. Product means which we can see, the physical which we can see and touch. Now it's a chalk, it's a physical product, it's a product. Whether I need to start a company which produce some product, or whether I need to go with the service oriented company which renders some of the service. He need to think that which is more profitable one. What idea I am taking whether it is able to convert into in a practical one. So identifying business opportunity means he has to identify where he has more opportunities, where he can get more profit. So in that stage he has to think about a particular idea which he can later convert into a product or convert into a practical one. Then second function which he performs, that is feasibility study. Feasibility study means he has to study various factors in detail. Feasible means in detail analytical study of any of the factors, we call it as feasible study. So under feasible study there are some of the factors like technological factors. Then comes their economic factor or financial factors. So there are three kinds of feasibility study which he undertakes. There comes first one, technological feasibility. Then comes economic feasibility and financial feasibility. So in case of technological feasibility, he thinks what technology is required in order to produce the product which he thought of. Yesterday we had taken an example of calculator, that we thought of producing one calculator which includes some other features also which are not there in a normal calculator. So that particular calculator, it requires some technology and which we need to import from some other country. But with that country our political relationship is not good. So we are not able to import anything from that particular country. So we are thinking that technologically it is not feasible for importing something from that particular country. So he has to think of some other alternative ideas or other alternative technology. So that is about technological feasibility. What technology I require for this particular product in order to produce this particular product, whether it is able for me to acquire that or to get in a proper time. Then financial feasibility means whether I am able to arrange the fund or finance which is necessary to produce this particular product. That is financial feasibility. Then third one, it is economic feasibility. What idea I thought, whether it is a profitable one or not. If it is profitable one, if I think it's a profitable one, I can move further. If not, I need to modify my idea. So this is about feasibility study. That is the second function which promoter performs. Then third one comes there, name of approval. As I said, he has to select 3 names. Then he need to send it to the registrar of companies. Register of companies is an office set by that Ministry of State Affairs. There is a Ministry of Corporate Affairs. There is a ministry in Indian government, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And this particular ministry, it set up the offices in different states. That office we call it as Registrar of Companies. Registrar of Companies. So this register of companies, it looks into the all administrative work of the companies of that particular state. So as I said, altogether we have 22 register of companies in different states. However, this will not come for your exam. This is some other knowledge I am providing. That is register of companies. Altogether there are 22 register of companies are there in different states. So what happens in the third stage? He selects 3 names and send it to the register of companies. Then they need to verify. They need to verify which name they have to select. If what name we send, with that any other company if it is existing, then our names will not be approved by register of companies. Some other name we need to send, and any one of the name in that they will approve and they will give permission to keep that name for our particular company. Then after getting a name for our company, then next step further we are moving towards we need to appoint, if necessary we need to appoint some of the professionals like chartered accountants, bankers or lawyers. We need to appoint them for the preparation of documents, which documents required in order to format a particular company. For that we need to require some of the professionals that we need to appoint. Then last function which is performed by promoter is preparation of necessary documents. The last function is, that is, preparation of necessary document. So in the last session we stopped in this particular stage, preparation of necessary document. You need to prepare the variety of documents which is required to start up a particular company. So in today's session we will see which are those documents. So first and foremost document which you need to prepare, that is memorandum of association. Memorandum of association. We call it as, we write it as MOA. That is nothing but memorandum of association. So what is that memorandum of association? It is one of the important document in case of formation of a company, which states the objectives of the particular company. Whatever we state in case of memorandum of association, we cannot cross that particular limit. Whatever we mention, according to that we need to go. So that this is one of the important document, memorandum of association, which looks into the objects of that particular company, which states the objects of that company. And this memorandum of association, it has some of the clauses. In that, the first one, it has some of the clauses. That first one, name clause. See, it states the name of that particular company. Under memorandum of association, there are some of the clauses. In that first one, name clause, it states the name of that particular company. As I said, we select 3 names and we send it to the register of company. In that, any one name will get selected as a name of that particular company. That name we need to mention in the name clause. So that will be the name of that particular company. Then the second clause which comes, that is registered office of the company. Registered office clause. So under this particular clause, the state of where the registered office of that company is going to situate. Here they have to mention under registered office clause. Under registered office clause, they have to mention the name of the state and also the address where they are going to set up their registered office of that particular company. Now company will be there, for that company one office should be there. So where they are going to set up the registered office of that particular company, that they have to mention here. Now if they are unable to give here at this stage, they can give that address of that registered office later after getting the certificate of incorporation. We are preparing all this document in order to get certificate of incorporation. Means when we get certificate of incorporation, we can start the business. So if at this stage if they are not able to mention, after getting within the 30 days of getting certificate of incorporation, they have to mention the address of that, their registered office address they have to mention under the registered office of the registered office clause. Then third clause is object clause. It is a object clause. Object clause, under the object clause they have to maintain what is the purpose or the object of that particular company, means what activities they are going to do under this particular company, what product they are producing, what they are doing under this particular company, what activities they are going to perform under this particular company, that they have to mention under the object clause. Now what they mention in object clause, that will be final. So other than that, they are not allowed to do any other activities which they are not mentioned under object clause. So what they are doing, that they have to mention in object clause, and if they do something else which they are not mentioned under object clause, then that will become illegal activities. So whatever activities they are doing, that they have to mention there, and what they mention under object clause, only that particular activity they have to conduct under that particular company. Then without mentioning under object clause, if they do or if they conduct any of the activities, then that will become illegal. So it takes care of the objects of the company. Then next clause comes there, liability clause. Liability clause. Now liability clause in the sense, for what their members are liable to pay, that they have to mention. For example, as I said, when we start up a business, we require there lots of fund. Then we need to think of how to collect the funds. Then about that fund, we are studying in the third stage, that is the subscription we are studying. So there we speak of the shares. Shares means, for example, now shares, it is nothing but certificate. Company will provide shares, or it will say that we will issue shares, we will provide shares. So the public, the general public, those who are interested in that particular company, they can purchase the shares of that company. That shares will be, it will have some price. Providing that price, they should purchase the shares. So that is a way of collecting funds. When they initially start up the business, that is a way of collecting the funds from the public. So what happens here, company says that we issue the shares, and they issue the shares. They issue shares, each shares of ₹10, for example. Now I am the general public, I purchase a share. I purchase a share of ₹10. What happens? Out of that ₹10, I paid to that company of ₹6 I paid. How many? What is remaining? ₹4 I have to pay, get to pay. I am speaking about only one individual person. So like this, many of the general public, they purchase the shares of that particular company of ₹10. So each individual, some might have paid that those all ₹10, some other might have paid ₹4, and their ₹6 may be remaining. So here I have taken the example of one person who has taken the share of that particular company. It costs ₹10. So out of that, 6 he is paid. Already paid. What amount? The unpaid amount on share is ₹4. Unpaid amount on share is ₹4. So in this liability clause, what it mentioned? What is the unpaid share amount they have to yet to receive? So this ₹4 I have taken 1%. So likewise, how many unpaid share amounts are remaining? How many unpaid share amounts are remaining, that they mention under the liability clause? How many unpaid amount they have to receive, yet to receive, that they mention in case of liability clause. Then last one, the last clause, that is nothing but capital clause. Now when I speak about issue of shares, before issuing of shares, the company has to get permission to issue the shares. Whom they have to get permission? There is one more authority called, that is SEBI. SEBI is nothing but Securities and Exchange Board of India. India, this is responsible for issue of shares, debenture and all. So they need to provide permission for any of the company that yes, you can collect fund through issue of shares. So here under capital clause, firstly company will apply for SEBI. For what amount we can issue the shares, for what amount of fund we can collect through issue of shares. So SEBI has to give permission. So for what amount SEBI will give permission, that we call it as authorized share capital. That we call it as authorized share capital. Now, authorized share capital. For example, now we require I take the example of 50 lakh. We are starting up a business. We require the fund of 50 lakh. So out of that 50 lakh, now we are applying for SEBI. So give us seeking permission for issue of shares to collect the fund. So SEBI will give permission that we can collect fund through issuing shares to the public. How much amount we can collect? For example, I will take the 10 lakh. SEBI will give permission to collect fund from the public. What amount? 10 lakh amount we can collect from the public through issue of shares. Now I have to divide the shares. How many shares I have to issue of what rupees, so that I can collect 10 lakh rupees from the public. So public will purchase the shares of the company and they will pay to the company. Then after that I have to pay like an interest. We need to pay dividend on those shares that we will discuss later. So for what amount of fund we require the 50 lakh. So we asked for the permission to SEBI. We have taken permission. So SEBI given permission to collect out of this 50 lakh 10 lakh rupees of fund you can collect through public by issuing shares. So this amount we can collect from the public through by issuing the shares. So this amount we call it as authorized share capital. For what? We have got authority to collect this amount as a issuing of shares, as a shares. So this amount we call it as authorized share capital. So what do we mention here under capital clause? What is our authorized share capital? What is our authorized share capital? Here in our example, authorized share capital is 10 lakh. Authorized share capital is 10 lakh. So what amount of shares I have to issue there? So if I issue there 10,000 shares. If I issue there 10,000 shares of rupees 100. 10,000 shares of rupees 100. Now if public purchases my 10,000 rupees by paying for each share 100, then I can collect the money of 10 lakh rupees. So this I have to mention in the capital clause. What is my authorized share capital and how I divided that amount into how many shares I have divided. I have divided it into 10,000 shares. The number of shares 10,000 of rupees 100. So this information I have to mention in the capital clause. How many? For what amount? What is my authorized share capital? For what I have got permission to collect. I have got permission to collect 10 lakh rupees of fund by issuing shares. So that will become my authorized share capital. Now how I divided that, how I will collect. I issue 10,000 shares of rupees 100. If public purchases my 10,000 rupees shares by paying 100 rupees, I can collect 10 lakh amount from the public. So this information I will mention in the capital clause. Now about this share capital and about shares and all we will study in the third stage. So it will be more clear. This is for just an example what I will mention in this particular clause. So this is about memorandum of association, which is very important document in case of formation of a company, and it includes these clauses. So it states the objects of the company. What memorandum of association states? It states the objects of the company. Then second important document, that is articles of association. That is articles of association, and we call it as articles A, O, A. So what is this articles of association? It deals with the internal management of the company. It frames rules and regulations for the internal management of the company, and this document is subsidiary to the memorandum of association. It's not an alternative option if not memorandum articles. No, it supports memorandum of association. So memorandum of association has to be there in any of the companies. So this articles of association, it deals with the internal management of the company. It frames rules and regulations for internal management of the company, and it acts as a subsidiary to in support of memorandum of association. And this particular document, it should not exceed any of the information which mentioned in the memorandum of association. It shouldn't cross the limit what mentioned in memorandum of association. As I said, it's just to support memorandum of association. It is subsidiary to memorandum of association, and it shouldn't exceed what mentioned in case of memorandum of association. So this is about articles of association. Memorandum of association and articles of association. It deals with the internal management of the company, and it frames rules and regulations for internal management of the company. It acts as a subsidiary document to or support of memorandum of association. Then comes there the third document, that consent of proposed directors. Proposed directors. Now, in the last session I have told, promoter has to decide how many members are going to sign the memorandum of association. The members, those who will sign the memorandum of association, they will become the first director of that company. Now, some of the, as I said, those who will sign, they become the directors of that particular company. So, when they become directors, when they sign the memorandum of association, even that those who signed, those who become the directors of the company, they have to give their consent, because consent in writing. Consent means they have to provide that yes, we are ready to act as we are ready to sign the memorandum of association, and we are ready to act as or ready to be a directors of this particular company. They have to give that consent in writing, because it will become a proof. It will become proof. They are just providing their yes, we are ready to sign the memorandum of association, and we are ready to act as a directors of the company. What is this proposed director? Proposed director means who are going to become a director, because company did not get incorporation certificate, so we cannot call it as a company. It's a proposed going to become a company, so they are going to become a director. So proposed directors. So here consent of proposed directors means they have to provide their consent, they have to provide their permission. Yes, we are ready. They have to provide their consent in writing. We are ready to sign the memorandum, and we are ready to act as a directors of this particular company. What happens if they become directors means they can take part in the activities of, they are the part of that particular company. Then next comes their fourth document which they need to prepare, that is agreement. Now, agreement means it has to be prepared by the promoters. Now, promoter, if requires, he may appoint a director, or he may appoint the manager of that in order to look into the document preparation or any other work or activities. If he require any of the other person, he can appoint a manager. He is also going to become a manager of that particular company. So if he appoint any of the persons, he has to make an agreement. He has to make an agreement with them that I appointed so and so people. And all these documents they have to submit to the register of companies to get certificate of incorporation. Then next one, statutory declaration. What is this statutory declaration? Now promoter has to write one declaration. What declaration he has to write? He has to write the declaration to the register of companies that what and all documents I have provided. The above provided documents, he has to provide memorandum of association and including all these clauses, and he has to provide articles of association, then consent of proposed directors, then agreement if he has appointed any of the individuals or any professionals to that company. So all these documents he has to mention there in that statutory declaration. He has to write a declaration there. Above provided documents are true to my knowledge. These all the documents which I provided. These are fair document. These are the true document. And I will be, if anything goes wrong with this document, then I will be held responsible for this particular document. So he has to write the declaration there. After writing declaration, he has to take the signature of chartered accountant and lawyer's signature. He has to take that. He has to take the signature of the lawyers. He has to take the signature of the lawyers there. Then he has to submit to the register office of that particular state. Then lastly, one more document he has to include, that receipt of payment of fees. Receipt of payment of fees. What is that receipt of payment of fees? See, register of companies are there. They will provide permission for everything, and certificate of incorporation also. They have to provide us a certificate of incorporation after checking all this document. For that, we need to pay some fees to the register of companies. So in this stage, when he submit this document, along with that he has to pay the fees, and what receipt he will get. What receipt he will get for the payment of fees to the register of companies. That receipt also he has to attach along with this document. Along with this document, he has to send the receipt of payment of fees, that he has paid the fees of register of companies. That receipt he has to attach along with this document, and all these documents now he has to send it to the register of companies. It is which is responsible for all the administrative work. Why he has to send to register of companies? Now, after checking all these documents, if it is true or if it is correct, these documents are proper, then register of companies will issue certificate of incorporation for this particular company. They will give the certificate to this particular company. After getting certificate of incorporation, they can start their business. Certificate of incorporation is nothing but we call it as a birth certificate of company. So all these documents they prepare in order to get that certificate from registrar of companies. So these documents, whichever documents they prepare, they need to send it to the registrar of companies. So what are the documents they have to prepare? Memorandum of association including these clauses, then articles of association, consent of the proposed director. They have to provide one letter in writing that we are ready to act as a directors, or ready to sign the memorandum of association and ready to act as a directors of this particular company. Then agreement, promoter, if he appoint any manager or anything, he has to make agreement with them. Then he has to write the declaration, above provided documents are true to my knowledge. So then he has to take the signature of any high court lawyer or any other lawyer. He has to take the signature. They have to verify it and he has to take the signature. Then along with the payment of fees, he should pay the fees to the register of companies for all these formalities and procedures, and that receipt also he had to attach with this, and then he has to send all these documents to the register of companies. So there they will verify. If they find it is fair, these documents are fair and their procedures and formalities are fair, then they can issue the certificate of incorporation. Then that is the second stage. Certificate of incorporation is the second stage in the formation of a company. There is no much points or under certificate of incorporation. What we send, that they just verify and then they issue the certificate of incorporation. So in next session we will see the second stage, that is the incorporation and subscription together, because incorporation is a very small topic, and there some other small topics are there that we will discuss in the next session.